We get ready for the men's 3,000. Alistair Craig of Arkansas setting the collegiate record. Loretta Lang has the meet record. And Justin Knight, our 5,000 champion from last night, has the best time in the country this year.
There is Andy Trouard, not only the most valuable athlete, but he's had a very fine career here at Northern Arizona University down in Flagstaff, up at 7,000 feet. He said, I love the altitude. Sometimes we go up to 9,000 to train where the air's really thin, and sometimes we go down to 3,500 to do our speed work. He said, and boy, the speed work is tough to do, the hard interval training, even at 3,500 feet. He could be a factor here, but the man he's got to worry about is this fellow who's really close with his family, and they came to the NCAA championships down from Canada when it was in Louisville this year, and he delivered on a wonderful victory here, and he's had a fine meet so far, winning the 5,000 meters.
I want to make a correction from yesterday. I erroneously had Justin Knight doubling back from a prelim in the mile. He did not run the mile yesterday, so he was fresh for that 5,000, and he dominated. Now let's see if he can come back in this 3,000 meters successfully.
As a distance runner, right, let me add one thing quickly. These guys, many of them know they're going to run the 3 and the 5 if they've qualified. And you're happy that the first thing you do is the 5. Psychologically, it's easier than running really hard, being tired on the 3 and knowing you got the 5. They do it the right way. 31 plus for the first 200 meters. Honest pace for sure. Let's see if it doesn't dawdle. I'll be surprised if it's hard here. Justin Knight, interestingly, moving up. You know, you can sometimes run a few laps in lane 1, but act as almost a blocking agent. And when you're the key alpha personality in this race, as he is, others sometimes just follow and not challenge right away. Lawrence Kipkoech from Campbell has moved up.
7th place to the University of Penn State.
So the 16-man field is starting to string out a little bit. It says that the pace is picking up a bit.
To show you how good the talent is out there and the level that they have reached in collegiate track and field over the last, particularly 10 or 15 years. Justin Knight has the quickest time, along with Colby Gilbert from Washington, of having run 7 minutes 45 seconds for 3,000 meters. Now let's say they could hold that pace one more lap. Everybody understands the mile and 2 mile. Let's say he kept the pace up one more time. When you do the math, that's like running a 4:09 mile and coming back and running another mile in 4:09. Total time would work out to 8:17. That's how good these athletes are. To get to this meet, they've run that fast. The slowest are under 8 minutes for 3,000 meters.
Andy Trouard, the Northern Arizona senior, hailing from Tucson, Arizona, Big Sky champion in the 5,000 meters. Also a 3:58 miler, so he's got the wheels as his pace is slowed ever so slightly. 2:12 for 800 meters for Trouard.
I mentioned I thought the first half might be slower than the second half. Trouard's keeping it fairly honest. I had conversations with him about tactics and what he wanted to do. He talked about the 5,000 meters. He said, I hope somebody pushes it in the middle of the race. I don't want to do it, but I don't want it to come down to a kick just at the end. First 1,000 meters, 2 minutes 47 seconds. Slowish pace for sure, by 20 or 30 seconds to what these guys have done earlier. They're just kind of loping along at this point.
That's Lawrence Kipkoech, the junior from Campbell and from Kenya, who's now dropped to 3rd. Justin Knight now back into 5th. The key is just to keep yourself in a position where you've got running room, where you're not in danger of putting your foot down where somebody else's leg is. And that's what happens when they bunch up when the pace starts to slow. That is Cameron Griffith of Arkansas, the sophomore from Australia. The tall one in the all-white for Arkansas in 2nd place.
And you know, you can watch his arm action, his stride, and know he's holding himself back. He's like a horse in a race being reined in. And this is almost like a run for these guys that they're going out on a tempo run. Never mind a big race. The question is, when does somebody realize that they're playing into the hands of people like Knight with his 355-mile speed and some other guys who can really kick and have raw speed? 1,500 meters in 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Add another 19 on, so they're at a 4:30, 31, 32 mile pace. This is easy. This is setting it up for a terrific last 800 meters. But it's not surprising when guys have already run a hard 5,000 meters, and many of these guys have just last night, yesterday, late afternoon. 8 of the 16 athletes here are foreign athletes, and the coaches do go look at the World Juniors, and sometimes they get phone calls from overseas from somebody saying, here's what I've done, I'm interested in talking with you, I know your school, and they recruit the best foreign athletes as well to compete here in the United States for the scholarships that are available.
Now Cole Rockhold, the Colorado State junior, gets himself up into the mix. The all-green, just on the shoulder of Cameron Griffith.
And here goes Kip Coedge from Campbell University. He's been here before for the last couple of years as Lawrence. His speed, and here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, right? He's a 4:06 miler. That's not going to cut it if it comes down to a big kick as we come up to 5 laps to go.
So it's Kip Coedge, followed by Trouard, then Justin Knight, and then Rockhold of Colorado State. Those are your top 4, but pretty much all the athletes entered. All 16 of them are in this thing.
Let's see what happens to Grant Fisher from Stanford University. Great runner, just a sophomore. He anchored the Cardinals team last night to a top finish, and he ran 3:57 and change. Now, what does it take out of him? Number 1. Number 2, this is a slow and easy pace. That's going to help his confidence. And he's running in about 6th place right now. He's got speed. We're down to 63.3. Kip Coedge for that last 400 meters. Dylan Maggard from Utah State has 3:56 mile speed. He's in the race. I mentioned Knight before. Trouard at 3:58. James West from Great Britain and Oregon in the race, a 3:57 plus miler. He's in the middle of the pack right there in the orange singlet up top. So the speed is there. When do they start cranking? We're coming up to 600 meters left in this race.
Now, there are a lot of people left in this race as we're coming down to the last 400 meters. 2 laps to go, and Andy Trouard takes the lead back, followed closely by Colby Gilbert, the Washington senior, and by Dylan Maggard of Utah State. Justin Knight in a little bit of bumping trouble there, but he's got to get himself in position if he wants to pull off the double from the 5,000 last night. He's going wide on the straightaway and trying to drop in on the curve. There's Justin Knight in the all blue of Syracuse. But Trouard holds him off. Coming up to the bell. Just a little over 200 meters to go, and it's Justin Knight, just like yesterday. He took the lead, but Trouard's not giving up. Trouard takes the lead back, and now we're in a foot race. It's Trouard, who's a 3:58 miler, and Justin Knight, who's a 3:55 miler. And Trouard will not give him the rail. How much energy is Justin Knight using trying to make that pass for the second time? Trouard lifting, and the double will not happen for Justin Knight. Andy Trouard of Northern Arizona, the senior, wins the 3,000 meters.
His last 400 meters, somewhere around 54 seconds plus. What a thrill for the young man from South Point Catholic in Tucson, Arizona. Watch Justin Knight try and move and make his move. And he won't be able to have the speed to turn on to get by Trouard, so he can't cut in. Trouard right here, this was a moment of decision right there. He made his move, got back in front, and was able to hold off the greater speed that we all thought that Knight would have on this race. Look at him get up on Trouard again. Trouard, a 4:18 high school miler, got his time down to 3:58. Coach Mike Smith, up from Northern Arizona, must be thrilled. They were the NCAA Championship Division I team this year, and he certainly has run extraordinarily well here at this meet, has Trouard.
They were Division I NCAA cross-country champions. Andy Trouard, who's a huge Star Wars fan, the force was with him on this one against Justin Knight. Knight ends up second after winning the 5,000 last night, and Arkansas's Cameron Griffith scores 6 points for the Hogs in third.